Oh, hello there. You've just caught me reading my new book. Guide to Metal Detecting by Graeme Rushton. I find it very interesting actually. This guy really gets across his 40 years experience within this book. For anyone, whether you're new to the hobby or whether you're an experienced pro, this book I think will help everybody. In fact, I'm going to do a review on this book, so let's delve into it a bit more. Right, so firstly, I think an important thing is to tell you about the author. So quite simply, I'm going to read off the back of the book. Graeme Rushton currently owns Unearthed UK Limited and has been a successful metal detectorist here in the UK for the best part of 4 decades. He is often seen visiting schools where he actively talks on the positive aspects of metal detecting and history. You will also hear him on the BBC radio throughout the year discussing specific aspects of the hobby in general. He detects most weekends in different counties throughout England, making some very interesting discoveries along the way. Now, the first thing I'm immediately drawn to with this book is the size of the lettering and the layout. Now, not everyone in this world is a keen reader, and I often find myself reading novels, but my eyes sort of merge the words together and eventually I get dozy, I fall asleep. Not because it's boring or anything, but because just my eyes can't take it. But the font size on this book is a perfect size for people to stay interested and also read it quite fluently. Now the layout is good as well. As you can see by these 2 pages I've selected here, you've got a good mix of different subjects and also pictures. Now they say pictures can say 1,000 words, so I'm quite impressed by the fact that you've got an awful lot of information on these 2 pages, but you've also got the pictures to expand on what Graeme is trying to say in each subject box. So that's the first thing I would say. If you're not the keen reader, or even if you are a keen reader, this book is going to be very easy to read. So the book's easy to read, but what is included in the contents of this book? Well, Graeme has selected very carefully what he would like to write about and to explain to the people reading his book. And like I said earlier, it is aimed at not only beginners but also metal detectorists of all abilities. So let's quickly go through each chapter and see what's included in this book. So chapter 1, choosing the right detector and equipment, picking a suitable machine. Chapter 2, technique, how to use that detector properly. Chapter 3, gaining permission to use your metal detector. Chapter 4, where to look, taking time to find the right areas to detect. Chapter 5, the law and treasure and what you need to know. Chapter 6, the metal detecting code of conduct. Chapter 7, how to record your finds. Chapter 8, how to preserve and care for your discoveries. Chapter 9, enjoying the hobby and outdoors, the most important aspect of the pastime. And Chapter 10, amazing treasure finds from the UK. So, as I said, Graeme, the author, has selected very carefully from choosing a metal detector to pointing out that you need land with permission in order to use that metal detector. And he's also looking at how to technically use that metal detector to find the goods. He wants you to know about the laws so you don't get into trouble, and the code of conduct most metal detectorists will abide by in order to keep the hobby nice. And then he goes on to explain that after you've found the goods, after you've got your permission, after you've got your metal detector, after you've found the artifacts, the coins, he then teaches you or explains to you how to record those finds for historic value with the right sources. He explains to you how you might preserve those discoveries for years to come. And he also explains to you the importance of enjoying the hobby and not doing it for the wrong reasons. And then he shows you some of the finds from his friends and also from his own private metal detecting over the last 40 years. So he takes you on a journey. Now, throughout this book, the author Graeme Rushton, and I did notice this quite early on in the book, he doesn't ram the information down your throat. He provides the information for you to make your own decisions on, which is something I really like, because although this guy's got 40 years experience, he doesn't act like he's trying to preach to you. He's just trying to help everyone who reads this book. Now, I turn to this page in particular because I often get asked on a regular basis on how to gain permission. I see it on a lot of the social media sites. So I turn to this chapter 3, Gaining Permission to Use Your Metal Detector, where Graeme goes on to say that the best technique is to start small. And I quite agree with that. He says start with friends and family. See if they've got bits of land that you can detect. Aim at horse paddocks and smaller parts of land, and then as you develop your land bank, then go on to the farms, the larger farms. Word of mouth is very important. So if you've started small and you've got some experience, then you can go on to the larger farms. He then goes on to say, or he actually says this before that the best way to gain permission is by face-to-face meetings. So there's some really good advice within this section. I'm now going to show you another chapter that I found very interesting, and that was where to look, taking time to find the right areas to detect. Now, I'm quite an experienced detectorist myself, but I found this very, very helpful. And Graeme talks about searching footpaths, fares and fields. Now, footpaths in particular, I made an effort to look for old footpaths after reading this book, and I found an old footpath on a raised section of land where I found silver coins, copper coins, and quite a few of them. He also goes on to say to look for the land anomalies within the field. So you might have some humps and bumps in the field, or a circular shape in the field, and he's asking the reader to look out for these land anomalies and search not only on top of them but around them, where you may have a lot of luck finding artifacts and coins. Now, this section will be of interest to many people who do not have permission on land, and a lot of metal detectorists will start on the beaches. So in this section, Graeme explains the wet and dry sand. He also explains that different metal detectors will work better on wet sand as opposed to dry sand, and vice versa. He explains that the sands move and where to look out for, where the sand's been stripped away, and you can get deeper and find rings, coins, as you can see in that picture. He's also got a section here where it says that old postcards are a good source of analysing popular beaches over the years, for instance in the Victorian times. So old postcards might give away a quiet beach as being quite popular in the past. So there was just a couple of chapters I wanted to show you, but right at the end of the book he then goes into a little bit of detail on what has been found by the detectorist over the years, with a few of the main finds over the years. So not only does Graeme show his own finds earlier on in the book, but he also shares other detectorists' cracking finds. So you've got pictures such as the Hoxton Hoard. I don't want to spoil it for you. The Staffordshire Hoard. And one last page, which is one of my favourites, the Midland Jewel. So Graeme showcases all these wonderful finds which have massive historic value to the country. And then lastly, he really wanted to point out that metal detectorists are here to help find the history of this small island in the UK. And he's put some figures that show the PASS database, which is basically the recording database for metal detectorists to record finds. And he points out that the pie chart here, which most of it is metal detecting finds in red, is sterling work by the detectorists. So without showing you every chapter and going through every word, this is the best metal detecting book on the market, not only for information but also for ease of staying focused to read this book, and to help all detectorists of all abilities in any country, not just the UK. So Graeme, it's an absolutely fabulous book and is available from Unearthed UK, Amazon and a few other book outlets. Thanks for watching. Please go out and buy the book. I will put a link in the description.